Hello and welcome back to Crew 42. This is our round one feature round coverage of the 2025 Greater Peoria Open. It's at a wonderful course. Northwood Black in Morton, Illinois is our MPO Feature Card, as I mentioned. And on the commentator's mic, joining me once again, I have the amazing Sam Smigiel. How are we doing?
I'm doing great, Zach. I'm really looking forward to this Northwood Black, commonly referred to as the toughest course on tour. And we are going to see how the pros are going to handle it today.
If you haven't already, please consider liking, subscribing, hit that notification bell. We have a few more events this year. You don't want to miss out on those. Our feature card is stacked. 2 touring pros, GT Hancock and Zach Arlinghaus, with the local Garry Patton and Ryan Mulder, the young gun, on our feature card. Got some power throwers here.
Yes, we do. And we got a lefty on the card with Zach. What do we have for hole one here?
455 feet, par 3. It's tricky. I would argue that you want your disc to flex right to left if you can, maybe a forehand if you have the power, into the most open space and have it come back, get into circle. You will see a lot of people throw straighter backhands trying to hug that left side and let it drift to the right as well. Common hits will leave you short and to the right on that hill on the right side. There is OB on the left, if I recall correctly.
Yes, there's OB on the left. That's really the mistake you don't want to make. GT is trying to get that flip up to right as straight as possible. It's going to be a little bit too far left, and he'll have a little over 200 feet up to the basket.
How intimidating for a hole one? You've played a lot of events. How intimidating is this one compared to the other courses you've been able to experience in your career?
When it's not windy, it's not too bad, but when the wind picks up, that OB just gets a lot more visible, and you start thinking about it a lot more. This first round, we don't have a ton of wind, so it's not too bad as long as you're not throwing anything too overstable. Most players here are throwing, this is a little bit left. It's got to, this should
Sneaking
be okay.
through a lot.
Most players are going to be throwing a straight fairway driver, maybe straight mid. Oh, he does sneak out of bounds.
And for this event, so like players who really love like the Ledgestone Northwood Black layout, it doesn't have the same OB listed as Ledgestone. So like some water plays casual. This one is the same OB though in Ledgestone event. Is that correct?
Yes, and Zach is taking a little bit more aggressive off of the first gap, but it's a lot safer because he's going to be fading towards the safer part of the fairway.
That'll work for GT as he approaches the basket. And we can see here that 2 discs actually get very close to that OB line. Gary's disc is hidden there a little bit on the left side, and Ryan's straddling the line between 2 stakes. He is just barely in bounds.
This first hole is a tough birdie. You're going to see a lot of pars on this hole. Not typically a big blow-up opportunity, as Ryan unfortunately hits that tree in front of him. He's going to be left with about a 35-footer.
Ooh, just off the top of the basket there from Zach.
Let's see if Ryan can clean this up for par. Very nice.
He can. Stuck it between the 2 trees, gets himself a par save. You mentioned, the scoring separation here. As long as you get a par, you're really not losing too many strokes in the field. Only 2 birdies in the field for our round 1 competition, with 76 getting a par or better.
Yeah, it's very common to get a par on this hole. The birdie, you want to birdie it, but it's well earned for those players that got one.
We're going to migrate our way over to hole 2, a stretch of 4 par 4s. I think these are some of the more scoreable par 4s. Here on hole 2, Sam, what's the recipe for success?
Most players are going to be throwing a mid-range off of the tee, getting into this landing zone right about here. So they have a straight, maybe a slight turnover down to the basket. It's pretty open, but if you do not get into a good position off of the tee, then it's going to be pretty tight where you're going to have to throw kind of a backhand flex. We might see someone go with the flex forehand, try to get aggressive off the tee, but most players, I think, are going to be doing exactly what GT is trying to do. If he misses this tree, And I think he's going to be rewarded with a really good shot.
Yeah, great landing zone there for GT. And one thing you'll learn as you watch this coverage is that angles matter more sometimes than the perfect landing zone. Because if you land a little
Here's
short,
that aggressive line.
yeah, if you land a little short and left, you still can attack into the kind of hallway towards the basket. But if you land too short, where we see Ryan kind of choking up a little early, you might get too cut off angle-wise to attack the basket.
Yes.
And so you might see a lot of people take kind of slower disc plays to just land in the right zone.
Zach just put a little too much hyzer on that. I like the lefty backhand on that. I think that would be a really comfortable shot for him to get a lot of distance, but just lets it go a little early. And Gary's in a really good spot, similar to GT.
So from this position, he's just in front of the short pad, essentially. Just a pitch up around the corner. Needs to land in the hallway, though. And he should be in the right landing zone there.
Yeah, if you are not in a good spot off the tee, you can see where Gary's at. If he is any shorter, then he's going to have to throw a pretty aggressive flex, and it's going to be kind of hard to get to the pin, but put himself in a good position, and he's going to be just outside the circle for his birdie.
Speed control is very key on this approach as the green does slope away behind the basket there. GT getting lucky on the left side maybe a little.
Yeah, lets that go early and still finds a way to the basket.
What is a good score you're hoping to get on this course? Full 18. What's your target score if you're trying to compete?
Anything under par, you're going to be happy with.
Sure.
I think on the front nine, you want to be a couple under. And heading into the back nine, which is going to be the tougher nine, you're probably going to get a couple bogeys. There's very few bogey-free rounds that have ever been played out here.
Sure.
So you kind of want to get as many birdies as you can on the front to ensure yourself on the back. And if you can get a couple under, you're feeling really good about yourself.
Ryan just off the fairway here is pitching up into the circle. He'll have that left for a tap in. Garry now with a 3 look from circle's edge, too high and left. Going to leak down the hill a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough putt for his first putt of the round. He really had basically a tap in on hole 1, and now he was left with a 40-footer, downhill. Good to get that one to sneak in.
Little head shake. Everyone has those days, right, where you get one. Maybe you didn't deserve it, but as long as it goes in, the end of the day, the scorecard has no pictures. Just
no blood was drawn.
Yeah.
And GT with a nice birdie.
We got our first person under par. Let's see if he can keep it as we move over to hole 3. Tight fairway shot off the tee here. What do you need to do?
I think a lot of players are going to be throwing a just pretty stable distance driver. Want to get just in front of this big tree on the left and then hyzer to right about here. And then pick a gap, either the gap that the drone is flying here, or if you're a little bit further right, there's a gap over there. Not a long hole, but position off the tee, once again, you'll see is a big theme on this course. You really have to get yourself in a good position.
And I think we'll see, too, especially as the rounds progress.
This looks good, but it might be a little early.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the most devious thing I see on this hole the most is people try to hook it around the corner, and they don't try to push it. And there's usually more space than you think to kind of push straight before it hyzers.
And where we see, Ryan, he's going to be a little bit further right in a better position, but still not a clear line at the basket.
Yeah.
If you go long, if you threw just a dead straight shot, didn't hyzer at all, then it's terrible.
Right.
There's a big drop off, and you're really trying to avoid that. And so the error is to hyzer out early, but if you do that, then you're not birdieing.
Right. Because there's a lot of plinko trees on the right side where the drone flew is the biggest gap, which sounds a little scary to say sometimes, but And yeah, that's what I mean. Like he can push that a little deeper, and now he's standing exactly in that drone tunnel is what I'll call it for now. But
Yeah,
you have
it's
a straight
exactly where a perfect drive is going to land right where Garry's at right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of these guys. You know, GT doesn't look to get super aggressive off that approach. I think we're going to see the smarter players know that when you're not in a position to be able to attack for birdies, you have to just lay up to the next available spot and just be able to attack from that position, get your par, and move on.
Yeah, and what we saw from Ryan there, he's had the best drive of the group, had a nice turnover line at it, missed his line by a couple feet, and anytime that happens on this course, you feel it just a little bit more because the lines are so defined. They're there, but you have to hit them, and anytime you miss your line or anytime you miss a inside the circle putt, you feel it just that much more on this course.
Yeah, honestly, for me, just looking at courses I've seen on tour as well as just in person, this may be the closest course we've ever seen to being faithful to par, where an even rated round is just actually professional quality round.
Yes.
Might be, might be 10-15, might be 10-20, depending on the event, but it really, like if you shoot even here, there's no question that was a professional quality round.
Ooh.
GT trying to do his best Freddie impersonation from last year.
Oh, did Freddie?
Freddie went off the top last time, I think.
Okay.
Another downhill tricky putt for Garry. Doesn't go for him. GT gets his par.
Oh, looks like Ryan maybe was just a touch left, but gosh, that went through a lot of chains.
One of the better scoring separating holes, hole 3, has 18% in birdies, 33% with bogeys, and 39% with pars, 9% with double bogey or worse. So if you don't find that clean fairway, as you mentioned, you might find yourself with a bigger score than you want. Hole 4, 637, another par 4. Again, a tricky shot off the tee here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sam. You want to land as far as possible and a little right. There's a little pocket there on the right side of the drone. You see there kind of opening.
Yeah, if you flex forehand past this tree is going to put you in a good position. And then you're going to have either kind of a turnover forehand, or if you got far enough, you can throw a hyzer at the basket or straight shot at the basket. But really, you just want to go as far as possible and don't go too far left off of the tee, because the further left you go, the more that's going to pinch you off.
Casual river, correct?
It is casual on this hole, yes.
Just putting you on the spot for rules.
And Zach, as a lefty, so he's a left-hand backhand, right-hand forehand.
Yep.
Which I know he's heard plenty of times. Chooses to go with the forehand. I'm guessing a little more confident hitting the gap, you think?
I'd love to sit. He's one of the few touring pros I'd love to sit down and do an interview about his thought process on a course, because he's got it. The way he breaks it down has to be so uniquely different than every other lefty you've ever known. Like, I know Reed Friscura, but he has a forehand too. So how he attacks courses is how do you hit lines? And for Zach, there's turnover options, or do you just go putter to hit a spot and then try to play a putter round? Like, he's definitely someone who's looking just to hit his angles and try to take advantage on the holes that favor him. This is not exactly a hole that favors him on the second shot, for sure. And so I think we're going to see him make some choices that for you and I are going to go, I never thought about that before.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him dissect this course.
Yeah, Northwood Black, if you have an elite forehand, you have an advantage, in my opinion.
Very much so.
And he definitely has enough power with that right-hand forehand. Just needs to hit something. A little earlier.
GT was trying to get up there, but once again, that creek is casual, so really no risk in running the basket, as long as you can get through all these initial trees and at least get to the river.
Zach was pinched on his drive, so he's going to, again, if you're not in the right position, just get to the next best landing zone, take a par. That's what his game plan is now. I think that's a good kick for Ryan. I think that was 2 inside.
It looked a little early. And you see, once again, this is not a long par 4, but it is giving our feature card here a little bit of trouble, where that landing zone is just very specific. It's there for you, but it just makes this hole that much tougher to birdie if you don't have really the perfect drive. Is he going to split the gap here?
No, he's going to hit the last tree he needs to miss.
I was hoping he's going to go right through those two.
That's got to be scary. Hoping to go around it, and it's headed right towards him. This needs to get some legs right. Okay.
Yeah, he should have a step out. About 20 feet.
Mm-hmm. Zach now just outside circle 1, probably 35, 40 feet. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, nice par. Keeps his scorecard clean.
GT now. Up and over the hill, too high, but should still sit by the basket.
Yeah, a little tougher putt from where he was at. He probably didn't see a whole lot of the chains and was just trying to sneak it over the hill and try to hit the basket.
Ryan now gets his par to go. Couple tap-ins will wrap up our hole 4. As I mentioned, there are 4 par 4s back to back to back, and while they can give you some trouble, especially if you're not perfect off the tee, they are, like you mentioned, front 9 is the scoreable 9. This is the one that you need to get. And hole 5 is the most scoreable one, arguably one of the easiest holes on tour in relation to par. Why does it play so easy, Sam?
It is a 450-foot par 4. That's why.
Great answer.
Your shot off the tee is going to be about a 230 to a 255-foot putter shot. If you throw it any shorter, any further, you are most likely not going to birdie. If you have that speed control, then you're going to be sitting about 180 from the basket with a little putter turnover or a forehand. Just kind of chip up, and I really like that we have a hole like this on such a prestigious course, because throwing the touch putter is something that I think a lot of players don't practice enough. The
only downside to this hole now is there used to be, all you Ledgestone fans out there used to be a log on the right side that not let you go low. And not to the TD who did a great job working with the parks, making sure things got cleaned up, but it was not his decision. He didn't ask for it, but someone made the decision at some point to remove that log. You see Ryan hit that tree. It used to be right there to prevent like kind of low, hyzer shots to get punished, and it is not there anymore. So I don't know if Nate and Ledgestone team might come back with something artificial. They might put another log there to prevent that play. I think that would be a great, Yeah,
I'd be all for that.
Yeah, I would too. But for this weekend, you can see it. It's gone. Someone's picked it up and moved it. But, it's not there this weekend. So the first shot's a little easier.
Yeah, you see Ryan having to get really creative and, honestly, a pretty good shot for where he was at and what he had to work with.
I also like this par 4 because it is a mental check, right? Because you can hit pars on the last par 4s, right? You can, man, I was just a little off, but this is the one you get. This is the one where you pick up your momentum, and if you don't get it, you have to get back locked in because you have a par 5 coming right up. It feels bad to miss this hole, and right now, Gary's not going to miss it. He just threw Thumber through the woods, apparently.
Almost threw it through the chains, it looked like. I'm surprised it didn't go in with the angle we were sitting at here.
But I really do like that contrast to the course. As you mentioned, it adds an element, that touch putter shot. You have a forehand or a backhand we see from GT here. It's just really soft and technical. And something you should execute every time and let players wrap their head around either being locked in and executing or having to deal with how they feel about not executing.
Yeah, and look at how GT played this hole. He made it look so easy.
So easy.
And look at what the other players on the card are dealing with right now. They're scrambling for, just trying to get something up there for birdie. You know, Garry had a really good shot from where he was at.
Right.
But
That's the exception.
GT had the absolute textbook shot.
Yeah.
And is rewarded with a stress-free birdie. So exactly what you were saying. Everyone's expecting to get a birdie on this hole, especially if you have a couple of pars or even a bogey, you know, heading into this. And for him to have that no stress on this hole, you know, heading into the rest of the back nine here, is a real big advantage.
Hole 6, 947, our first par 5. What's the recipe in order to give yourself a birdie opportunity here, Sam?
You really got to keep it in the fairway. You're going to throw something with just a slight left to right turning shot. It's going to finish pretty straight. And then your next shot's going to land right about here, short of those trees, but something that gives you a look at this basket, and then throw it through a gap, and you've got about probably a 200 to 230 foot up shot, and all very simple shots, but in these long woods, definitely room for error.
You know, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I'm interested in your take here. This is the greenest I've ever seen this course. And I don't mean foliage, I mean grass. Yeah. You have way more grass
everywhere.
Yeah, than you normally do. And I love it. I think it's awesome, but it definitely, couple holes play differently from it.
Yeah, you're not going to get as much ground action because the disc is not going to slide. And I mean, just the beauty of it.
Oh, I know. As the drone's going through, all I can think of is, wow, this just looks fantastic. Like at hole 5 at Deglow, when that one's full of foliage, and you know, after the wood chips went away, like those holes look so good when you get grass in the woods. That sounds like a really weird thing to say. Grass in the woods.
We're seeing a couple of forehands off here, which I don't really expect because they're probably throwing a faster disc. See, Zach's gonna have a really good shot here.
That's great.
He had to challenge that left-hand side quite a bit. Definitely a more technical shot.
Yeah. Ooh. That's not good.
And that is welcome to Northwood Black.
So you might notice on the coverage, I'm going to address it now before someone leaves a comment right now. Garry just foot faulted. He just put his foot wide right of the disc. A lot of these pin positions are, you know, dogleg left, right, hooked around a corner of some kind. You have to make sure your planting foot is directly behind the disc in relation to the basket.
Yes.
So you're going to see some of these guys, like right now, GT actually...
Same thing.
Yeah, he gets an advantage almost to getting away from the tree by going farther right of the disc. Unfortunately for him, he does hit one of the first available for him, and he's but in the fairway for his next. And Ryan really needs to get back in the fairway sooner rather than later before he lets this score potentially rack up.
Hoping to see a pitch out here to a point where he can get himself up and down for a bogey. And that was a really well-thrown shot.
That was really good. Uh-oh, roller. How dangerous are the rollers out here in Northwood?
If you've got the right stability disc on this hole, it is not too dangerous because the fairway really shapes it. If you can get through, he's going to be just a little short of the corner, but man, if you can get that roller down at a good angle, you can get so much closer to the basket and be rewarded with a honestly pretty easy birdie.
Ooh, GT having to hug that right side to swing this disc left.
Yeah, he used all of the fairway and is in the perfect position. It looks like Ryan might be lining up through these inside trees here. No, he does go around.
I think that's the smart play because even if you go down, so where Ryan's landing right now at the bottom of the hill there, you still, like, if as long as you get a full swing, you can still get to the basket. But if he hits those early trees, he's doomed.
Pan out. Well, short, but that's a putt. You will take putts on every hole. Circle 2 in regulation is the winner of the tournament is going to be, I would be surprised if they are not number 1 in Circle 2 in regulation.
Yeah.
It's just getting to the basket is so important on this course.
C2 regulation, and I would say scramble rate. Those two would have to be the highest in order for you to really score here. And GT just made that look way too easy.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely saved himself some strokes just playing clean off of bad shot earlier in the hole.
Ryan's going to leak into just off the green there, but inside circle 1, maybe circle edge there. Zach now from range.
Come on.
Tickled the pro side. Didn't swing enough for him.
Yeah, and these are the putts here that, when you miss these on other courses, they don't quite feel the same as they feel here. When anytime you can see the basket, you just feel like you have to make it because it's so hard to get to the basket on some of these holes.
Par save for Zach there. Ryan taps in for double bogey, unfortunately. Just too many throws from not on the fairway. And a couple par tap-ins for Garry and GT as that leads us over to hole 7 and our second par 3. This one a little shorter, 325, but it's pretty tricky. To me, it's a little poke and pray-ish. You have a wall of trees there. If you're throwing the backhand, you turn it over a little bit, you can try to drift this line the drone's taking. There's also a gap on the left side of this tree the drone's passing right now. If you have that forehand touch flip up, you can get into the basket a little easier that way. But what is there a better play, Sam, other than just try?
I like the left side gap, and I actually like it with a backhand.
Really?
Yeah, because
putter.
I'm gonna throw pretty straight mid range.
Okay.
But you're basically playing to, circle's edge.
Yeah.
But it's a less technical shot than the flex forehand. I think less dangerous. And if you mess it up and go too straight, then you hit the other gap, which the drone was flying. So I think you have more opportunities to get to the basket.
GT hits relatively late. Garry hits early. Zach is just trying to fly through the woods. He does get most of the way there. He'll have a long look for birdie.
And this is the shot that the fairway looks like it's inviting you to do. But the basket's really not that far to the right of that fairway. So even if you're throwing that backhand and it hides it out a little bit, you're not fading that far away from the basket.
Garry had a good line on it, but catches one of the last Guardians he needed to miss. And to me, that's really the key here. If you don't want to lose strokes on the field.
Here he goes again.
With the hammer?
With his hammer. I mean, he's never thrown. I've not seen him throw a bad one yet.
I think it's a better shot than the disc golf community gives it credit.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it other than, why don't you just throw a chip forehand?
Because you get ground interaction. You shank early and you're going to get a bad tree deflection. I don't know, but I've got to ask him. Yeah.
I mean, he obviously throws it really well. Yeah. I don't really have that in my bag. If you see me throwing it, I'm not happy with where I'm at. So I'm curious where he's it's working for him. So keep doing it.
Got a tap in par from Ryan. Missed his birdie opportunity. That's going to transition us over to hole 8. 389 feet, par 3. Very downhill. It's rather protected green, I would say, because the hallway to hit is fairly narrow, and there's OB everywhere. There's a little OB rule here going on. What's the rule? Do you remember?
So the OB is pretty much all along the right side. If you go OB, there's an optional drop zone on the last tier before the basket. So drop zones maybe which GT is going to be going to. So we'll see that there. You can see the kind of the orange flag there.
Back-to-back OB shots from our card. See if Zach can get in bounds. Ooh.
Ooh, and that lefty backhand, that is a very tough shot where, man, that is fading straight at the OB the whole way there.
And none of our card members can get past those early trees, but Ryan luckily lands on the path and safe. So this is his approach to try to save the par.
Gonna slow down? No, that's good.
There is OB behind the basket as well, left side of those wood pylons, correct?
Yep, the wood pylons basically just left of the last pylons we can see here from the camera angle. I think GT should be safe of them. And yeah, there is OB past it as well. Ooh.
Yeah.
Almost looked like he was giving a little run.
Yeah. You want to, but if your disc hyzers, it goes right towards that OB line.
It does.
Which I love as a feature on the course. It's makes you kind of question it, even though it's right there for you to do that.
Yeah, I almost like for Zach to, give that a little bit of a run, because his is going to be, if his fades, he's going to be, I think, fading into those pylons. Oh, that's an unfortunate miss there from Ryan.
Second missed putt, short one for Ryan. He's going to need to clean those up if he wants to get in the right direction for his scorecard here. And it should be a bogey frame for our card. I mean, this one just had our card's number, I guess.
Yeah, haven't made it through the front nine, and we do not have any clean scorecards.
Again, and this hole's playing tough.
Common at this course.
This hole is playing tough too. 0.82 over par, 48% at bogey or worse.
Wow.
Yeah. Hole 9, 732 feet to round out our front nine here. First tee shot, you want to drift right, similar to hole 6, but maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, big forehand if you got it, or long turning backhand. You want to get really as right as possible, because this fairway here, once you get for your second shot, you want to have pretty much as straight of a shot as you can to it. So being as right as you can, as far as you can, is pretty much the play.
This feels like one of those holes that if you're just not in the perfect position off the tee, you need to swallow your pride, lay up to the next spot. Because
it's par.
Yeah, at best.
And that is you're hoping to par.
I mean, he's, 80 feet off the tee?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably chipping a forehand as far as he can, and that's not any better.
Tough first couple drives from our card. See if Zach can get one in the landing zone that we want. Little turned over.
Should get through most of the trees. I don't think he's going to have a great position at attacking for birdie, but he should be able to get himself at least inside 100 feet.
He's a little short, right? He wants to be another 60, 70 feet forward?
He wants to be more right.
Okay.
I think. Oh, wow. Wow. Did you just throw a hyzer on this hole?
I think he meant to throw a turnover and shanked it right, and apparently trees are 90% air. So he's in a great spot. Yeah.
That should be good.
See if that tree obstructs his run up at all, but that's a better landing spot. He'll be able to see the basket from there.
Yeah, and you got to wonder what Gary's working with here.
Nothing. It's Northwood Black.
I mean, he's probably hoping to get like.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
great.
That's great from where he was at.
Okay, Zach. He does get the advantage of being able to turn this over.
Maybe a little too much, a little too high, I think, but he's getting through quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad shot. Going to leave himself a little short, but easy up and down for par. Not upset with that on this hole. Ryan, I think, should be looking pretty much right at the basket. Really want to capitalize on this one. Looks like we're drifting a little bit left, and he's going to have circle's edge putt, maybe 45 feet.
Another hole that gives some decent scoring separation. 50% of the field getting par or better, and the other 50 getting bogey or worse. So definitely a hole that you want to get a par on, so you're not losing strokes in the field.
Oh, and if GT gets up here, if he can knock that putt down, that's going to be a phenomenal par save.
Correct. 1 out of 50.
Yeah.
What would you say, chance-wise, to save it
Yeah,
from
and
there?
I mean, look at maybe a little better than that because he wasn't off the fairway. I think if Garry gets up and down, that's, even worse odds, and he's right there inside the circle.
Great scrambling from our first 2 tee shot guys.
Come on, just throw this one in.
One time.
No, he didn't want it.
He just wanted the par.
Pars are good.
On this hole, they are.
But I'm greedy. I wanted to see a birdie.
A little low.
Last chance for a birdie. Ryan leaves it a little short, and he's going to be parring. No way.
Disbelief from GT here.
Don't do that to him after all of that.
Let's take another look at this one. Just perfect spot. GT's reaction to it.
I'm picking it up.
Yeah, he's bending over. It was perfect, and now just
what else do you want from me?
Golly, just pull spit out.
Yeah. Great par there from Garry in a terrible spot off the tee. Managed to salvage that.
Hopefully GT feels like he did too, because he didn't deserve that spit out, I would say. And I don't think anyone deserves anything, let's be real. But, he did a great job to get himself positioned, at least a chance to save it. And is currently leading our card as well. At even right now with Zach at 1 over, Ryan at 4 over, and Garry at 3 over. So overall, what's your take on the card's performance?
So far, I think GT's showing himself very composed. 2 bogeys. I wouldn't say he really deserved that last one.
Yeah.
Playing really well. Zach keeping it together. The other 2 guys really got to shoot a hot back 9 to feel like they're keeping themselves in it.
All right, we'll see you guys on the back 9 in just a minute.